Hi everyone, Luke here from Figmento Films, and I'm really excited. I've got a new video for you today, and it's a little bit out of the norm for what I would usually do. So usually I make educational videos for brands and businesses looking to raise their brand with the power of photo and video. However, my channel got seen by a brand called Dehancer, and they've asked me to review their product, which is really awesome. It's nice to know that my stuff is getting seen. Now, after using the product for like a week, they offered me to be a part of their affiliate program as well, and I was really impressed with it, so I accepted. But they fundamentally told me and encouraged me to be as blunt as I wanted to be, and I would not have accepted the affiliate program if they didn't. And I'm going to go through that review for you today. I ain't got a script, I've got my little notepad where I've made a few notes, and I'm just going to talk to you about my experiences using the product and why we've got this weird little setup today. But before we get into that, let's just sum up what Dehancer is. So Dehancer is, simply put, film emulation software, but it's a really powerful tool in help capturing that filmic, cinematic look, and I think it could be really useful for many people out there who are really trying to craft a very filmic and nostalgic look to their films. Okay, so why use Dehancer? Well, if you're a massive fan of the cinema like I am, or you're trying to capture, you've gone into filmmaking and you want to stand out a little bit even, well, you're probably going to be looking at those old films from back in the day, your classics like The Godfather and your Saving Private Ryans and your Scarfaces, your Apocalypse Nows, and you're probably watching them and you probably feel that something is different, and that feeling is partly attributed to the fact that it's all shot on film stock. Now, modern cameras are fantastic, but they're so clinical that they almost lose character, and it's quite difficult to differentiate between many modern lenses. They're so good now, and the engineering processes are so good that they just look overly clinical. Now, for a corporate videographer like myself, this can be great for like 90% of projects, but it can be difficult making a project stand out if that project requires that. So for example, for me, if a brand comes along and they specifically want to capture, say, a feeling of the 90s, well, modern clinical footage doesn't really portray that. It doesn't speak to us on like a subconscious level. We just know that something's not quite right. So using film emulation software is one great step towards that. Another step that is quite popular that I do very often is I use a Cine soft filter from Tide Optics. There's other versions as well, the most famous being Tiffin's Black Mist Pro filters, which are amazing, quite expensive though. The main advantage with using something like Dehancer is you can add the effects and take them away again without worrying about making any mistakes by putting something on your lens that might have ruined the image or the shoot. Who would I recommend Dehancer for? Well, I think Dehancer is for anyone. It's very subjective. My main advice would be this: if you're doing any type of project, then you need to make sure you've planned that project out in advance, so that if you are going to use film emulation software or a soft filter or a certain type of light or a certain type of lens, have that planned out in advance so you've got an idea of how everything will turn out before you get there, turn your kit on, take it to the edit suite afterwards, and then be like, this isn't how I thought it would be. Visualize, plan, and prep before you get to the shoot. Now for me, I was initially, like I said before, a little bit unsure how it would work for me, but I think I'm going to be using this quite often, especially in my sort of private projects as well. You probably don't know this, but I'm massively into wildlife photography, and I want to get more into the video side of that as well. And at the moment, the videos are quite clean, so if I could do kind of a reverse and make videos that are very reminiscent of old school nature documentaries, I think that would be a really cool way to stand out. So what's my experience been like using this software? So the reason I'm not going to give you a massive tutorial is because I'm still learning, and initially it was a little bit daunting. However, I'm really growing to love being in this rabbit hole. I'm looking at old school films, I'm looking at film stocks, and I'm studying basically, and I'm studying how to use the program too to get the most out of it. The cool thing is, even though I'd say the learning curve is a bit steep, Dehancer have a YouTube channel full of videos, and they have a website full of articles that you can read as well, and that's where I've been going. One major problem I've been having with Dehancer is I'm using a Windows PC and Premiere Pro, so maybe I'm setting myself up for failure there in terms of technical prowess, but I'm finding it quite resource intense. So I've got a really simple tip on how to deal with that, and that is basically, once you've filmed your footage, number one, shoot in 10-bit or RAW so you can actually have the latitude to grade your footage, and number two, rather than grading the footage directly, add an adjustment layer, and I'll show you how to do that right now. Firstly, install the program, make sure it's all ready to go in Premiere Pro. Secondly, make sure you're shooting in 10-bit or RAW, using a log profile preferably for 10-bit. I've used a Lumix with a Vlog. I've used a conversion LUT to change that Vlog into a Rec 709 profile. Once you've done that, you're going to go into your Premiere Pro, open up your project, put your things on the timeline, and you're going to go File, New, Adjustment Layer. Now I've already got my adjustment layer and it's over here. So the color grading, if I press this, it's already been graded. And if I turn this icon on here, and we've got the Dehancer effect. So all I've done is essentially graded a very, very small portion, so that if I made any other change, say I change this to 29, when I click render, it's going to render that clip a lot faster. The ultimate idea behind this is when it comes to editing, you edit your whole project, and then at the very end you can apply this to the whole of the project, render it, export it, and happy days. So as you can see, if you add an adjustment layer, it stops you having to render all the time, and you can add that adjustment layer to everything at the very end and render it all at once. Otherwise you're going to constantly be stopping and starting, which nobody wants to deal with. And as I said, we've got this funky setup, so you can see this effect has been happening in real time through the whole video, because the light is a source that will obviously produce halation and bloom effects as well. And one more thing you need to remember is to simply check those enable buttons. The first time I used this, I was like, nothing's happening, and I just hadn't clicked enable, which was a little bit embarrassing, to be honest. So will you be using Dehancer on your projects? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you feel about how the footage has turned out. I've gone for kind of a warmish sort of tone throughout this video. Let me know if you like the look of that. And if you do like it and you purchase it, you can use my affiliate link below, but you can get free trials as well. And it's available for DaVinci, Apple devices, Final Cut. So there's plenty of opportunities and places to use it as well. If you liked today's video, don't forget to hit subscribe or hit the bell if you want to keep notified about future videos. I'll be back to you as soon as possible with a new video. Take it easy, until next time.